I think William Ruto spat on the face of Kenyans, even though few who still had hope that he means well for the country. Because he dismissed the members of the cabinet.
Okay.
Then he brings back 6 of them back to their same dockets. So why was he dismissing them in the first place? You could have as well retained them with Mudavadi. This is just a slap on the face. He is not accepting the reality. He is tone deaf. He is not listening to what the people of Kenya are saying. The people of Kenya are saying, you must change the way in which you are being governed. The governance template must change. It cannot be more of the same, of the old politics, the old networks. He's not getting it. So that is why you see when he is encouraging more people to come out. Because that cabinet proposal, look at the names. Which interest do they represent? Which of that group can you say even inspires hope in you? Who can you say that here, there's a minister or a proposed nominee who is going to bring positive change in my life? Zero. It's the same old garbage that he has brought back to the people of Kenya as cabinet secretaries. And that is the same garbage that brought us into the problem we are in today. And I must say this. You know, part of the problem squares on the economy. And I want to question the people in Azimio who are dying to join Ruto's government. He's not given treasury CS to any of his people. He's leaving it to Azimio.
Are you sure that he's left it to Azimio?
That was the proposal to go and occupy. And you see in a list from the reports. Why are you taking a poison chalice? Number one, that treasury is a poison chalice. William Ruto's government is even a larger poison chalice. Why do you want to join such a space? Because they've been unable to perform to the satisfaction of the people of Kenya. They do not have a vision for which they are running.
I want us to get into the conversation about the possible inclusion of members of opposition into this particular cabinet. But then let's get this done away with. In the first place, there have been claims that, of course, and questions on the suitability and eligibility of the dismissed officials from actually occupying on whether they should actually occupy any other public seat right now, owing to the manner and nature in which they were dismissed from the cabinet back then. What do you make of this?
You know, in terms of their being eligible to be reappointed, I mean, that one, the provisions of the law that have been referred to speak to if someone has been subjected to the disciplinary processes for removal of office. So in this particular case, I don't think they were subjected to a disciplinary process or an impeachment motion through the assembly. So he's free to nominate them. I don't think there's any bar.
So for you, there isn't any
I
legal
don't think there's any
here.
bar. But that's on law. But in principle, on morality, having dismissed them for failing to deliver on the mandate, why is he calling them back? And Kenyans are now on the streets. They want a country that has ethos. That what you do, you should be doing it for the benefit of the people. It's about the people's interest. The best interest of the people principle. If it was in the best interest of the people for you to dismiss all of them, when did the people's best interest stop being a consideration that you are bringing back some of them? And that is the chicanery that enrages the people of Kenya with William Ruto. Because you cannot tell straight from that man. He says this today, tomorrow he says this. He commits to do this, he does the opposite. He is still thinking this is a children's game. No longer Piki Piki Ponki. That one ended in the Supreme Court with IBC when he went to, when the disco landed on him. This is now about people's lives. It's about governance. His decisions have a life and death consequence on them. Some people in Kenya. Because it impacts even on the ability of a child to go to school. It impacts on the ability of a patient to access quality healthcare. So you must make decisions when you weigh and you make sure that this decision is going to lead to the best interest of the people. And I don't think he's doing that.
So
he's informed more by political expediency.
And that actually brings me to my next question. Looking at the kind of situation that we have here in the country, with all that has been taking place in the recent past, of course, in the recent past 1 month, with the protesters bringing in a lot of demands. And then all of a sudden the president decided to hit one of their demands, that is by sacking the cabinet. What do you think then informed the president's decision to bring these people back?
Because you will assume that prudence will make you assume that he was doing it to show that he is now magnanimous and is willing to accommodate what these demands are.
Okay.
But then when you go back to appoint the same characters to cabinet, it tells you are not listening. It was just meant to be a con game for that week.
Okay.
It was meant to address the pressure that you're facing that week. So now that the pressure isn't a little, you can go back to your old ways. That is why he's reappointing them. But he's not doing these appointments to serve the public interest. It's not in the public interest. Of what use is Kindiki, who was superintendent over the killing of over 60 Kenyans in the hands of policemen? 60. I'm not talking of even maiming, I'm talking of killing over 60. And a known number of forced disappearances, people who we don't know where they are, who've been disappeared by the police. Kindiki was the one superintending over that system. Why will you bring him back? Is that not spitting on the face of these people demonstrating? These people are asking just for government that is responsive to their needs. So you cannot have a constructive conversation or engagement with that kind of a person. He's tone deaf. That is why I support the rebuttal from Gen Z that we are not going to have any dialogue with you. Just do what you said.
Are you seeing any sort of goodwill from the president when he goes ahead and reappoints these people?
But there's no goodwill. That's what I'm saying. There's no goodwill.
Okay.
Because when he said they have dismissed all of them, you could assume that, okay, maybe he's listening. But then he reappoints them. Then you go back to there. No, he's not. He's a conman.
Okay.
He's just trying to doink us. He was never genuine about dissolving cabinet and about opening up a new chapter for the nation called Kenya and its people.
Do you foresee any consequences emanating from the president's decision of appointing?
Of course, the problems that led us here will still be there.
Okay.
And the consequences is going to be a hardening on the people. The people are going to harden their positions. There'll be going to be more clamor and demands for William Ruto to go.
Okay.
Because he's no longer addressing the issues that matter to Kenyans. Kenyans are not asking much of William Ruto. They are simply saying the template of leadership that you've been using is the wrong one. It is 60 years old. Where we were the slaves, you leaders were the masters. We've banned that book. In fact, the author of that book has also died. The book itself has been banned. Kenyans are writing a new chapter. They are writing a new book of governance, where they're saying people's issues should be first, not leaders, not politicians. It should not be about creating a country that only favors the people in political office and not the masses.
Okay.
Rewrite the book to show that we should at all given time be about the interest and the welfare of the people.
Okay.
We should be about the people. That is what Kenyans are asking.
In a bid to address the kind of problems that we are witnessing as a country right now, the president sees it in his wisdom. I don't want to say or lack of it, but then in his wisdom, he sees that he should actually form some sort of a broad-based cabinet. And this has been read to mean that perhaps we would have an inclusion of members of opposition. And actually, this has caused a lot of jitters. Of course, after he named the first 11 batch, people were like, the second batch would be perhaps of representatives from the opposition and several other sectors, which would otherwise make his cabinet now seem more complete and more acceptable to Kenyans. Now, let's have it here. Do you think it's a right move for members of opposition to join hands with government and actually accept these slots? Should that hand be extended to them?
In my estimation, the opposition is right. It's within their right to join the government. I also belong to the opposition. I can never join William Ruto's government.
Okay.
And those who will join William Ruto's government should also know their consequences. And everybody should be ready to live with its consequences. Everybody must carry their consequences. I will carry my consequences of not joining that government. The ones who will join must also be ready to carry the consequences of joining. I say that because of this. This ship is sinking. The people have rejected William Ruto and his government. If you are a political leader, why would you want to join a sinking ship? To what end? And more so, when the people have even crystallized the issues and the reasons why they have rejected William Ruto and his government. They've told you what the issues are. And before those issues are addressed, why would you want to engage with that kind of a person? Is he not just inviting you to come and take ownership of his problems? He's inviting you to problems. He's trying to use the opposition as a shield from the people. And the opposition should not allow that entreatment, in my view. But I've said it's their right to decide. It's not for me to decide for Azimio, for ODM. They are also Kenyans, and they are free to make their political choices. If they think there's anything good out of William Ruto's administration, so be it. Continue. But I do believe that many Kenyans, myself included, will not want to associate with a regime that just because someone went to demonstrate peaceably and unarmed, they deserve death. 60 plus Kenyans have been killed just for exercising their Article 37 right. I will not be in any political formation, such kind of a person. Kenyans are demanding of a government that listens to them, that's accountable to them. I don't think William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza are listening to Kenyans or are accountable to Kenya. Kenyans are asking for a government that's about the people's interest, the people's agenda. I don't think those people are about the people's agenda. So why would you want to go and join them? Okay. But if there's many people want to go, waendelee.
Do you think formation of that particular broad-based cabinet would be the solution out of this crisis?
It cannot be the solution. The people have crystallized what the problems are, and in that list of demands, I have not seen anywhere where they've said, include members of opposition in your government. They don't even care who is in that government, as long as the issues are attended to. But if the opposition has read it to mean that they should be joining that government, so it's their... No, when you make your bed, our duty is just to invite you to lie on it. So if they want to join, they can go.
Make your bed, lie on it.
Lie on it.
At the same time, some members of opposition are telling Kenyans that you made your bed on August of 2022.
Yes.
Why don't you lie on it?
Now, Kenyans have lied on their bed and they've decided to recall their vote. They have recalled their vote constitutionally by saying, I have a right to demonstrate and to picket. I am demonstrating against bad governance. As I told you, the fact that a voter has cast his vote on a date does not mean that that voter suspends his brain for 5 years. Does not mean that that voter becomes a slave for the next 5 years. No. That voter is still a Kenyan and entitled to the enjoyment of all the rights in the Constitution, including the right to express himself, even the right to change his mind, and the right to demonstrate and to picket to express that change of mind. So the opposition members who are trolling those who may have voted for Ruto and are now demonstrating against him, that is not democracy. They have a right to change their minds, they have a right to express themselves, and they have a right to demonstrate, even against their own government. Even if they were members of UDA who desires to demonstrate today, I will support their right to demonstrate against UDA. Because you don't lose your rights as a citizen just because you've cast a ballot. In fact, mature democracies, and democracies mature when citizens exercise an oversight over the people they've elected. This is not a monarchy. This is a republic governed by the Constitution and the rule of law.
So when you make your bed and then it gets damaged along the way, do you repair it or you buy it?
You can burn even that bed and buy a new one. At times, if the state of damage on the bed demands that you throw that bed out of the window, you throw it out of your window and you buy a new bed.
So that's what you want Kenyans to do.
Yes, and if Kenyans have decided they want to do that, who am I to stop them?
So they should throw the bed
The voice
and bring
of the people is the voice of God. When the wicked are in authority, the nation mourns. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is it from the Kandi Talk here. Allow me to stop this conversation at this particular moment. But if at all you're watching us for the first time, kindly subscribe to our channel here and stay tuned to some of our programs that will be coming up next. Gerald Kabir is always here, Richard Mwenja, as well as Professor Ahmad Manyora himself. All those are part of this great family. Thank you for being part of us, and thank you for supporting us all the way. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.
In new surroundings, the hen will walk on one leg.
I think that's very true.
It is?
Yes.
What does it mean to you?
I think when there's a lot of challenge in the neighborhood, I mean, there's new innovation.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very good. You know, one of the things I really love about asking people's opinion about a proverb, you get to hear interpretations you could not have thought of. And yet
Because for the hen to walk with one leg,
Yes.
I mean, that's very innovative. And it must be because of the challenges in that food.
Yes. Yes, the hen has to be innovative because the challenges that it's facing require that it walks on one leg.
Yes.
Very true indeed.
Okay, so is Kenya standing on one leg at this point? Because this is definitely new territory, Ahmed Nasir, and we are talking about a situation, first of all, unprecedented, really never been in this particular situation with all the elements, has never happened in Kenya before. And we're looking specifically at what has happened with the cabinet. I'd like to get your initial thoughts when we saw the dissolution of cabinet, essentially, and all 20 of those 22 members sent home. Before we even get into reconstituting it, what are your thoughts about what happened with the dissolution at that point?
I think it was long overdue. That was the view of every Kenyan at that point, is that the cabinet let down both the people of Kenya and the president of Kenya. And it was no longer viable. It was no longer useful. All the problems that, that engulfed the country can be attributed to either the performance of the cabinet, its composition, the delivery, what they delivered, what they did not deliver. 2 years of wasted time, in my view. Yes. And that is what I think forced the president's hand to go that unprecedented way of dismissing his entire cabinet.
Ahmed Nasir, you say 2 years of wasted time. Are you saying 2 years of wasted time because individuals did not do what was supposed to be done? Or why would you say wasted time?
What have they done to, what did this government achieve during the last 2 years through this cabinet? I've said many times that if you look at the last 2 years, you will see the president overworking himself, doing the work other people should do. You will see the president, running all over the place. But in terms of the visibility of the cabinet, in terms of, the achievements of the cabinet, in terms of, if we do an analysis of these 22 or 23 cabinet members and tell them, what have you achieved in the last 2 years? I think their scorecard will be very, very, very scanty. Yes.
Do you think he realized this as the president and that there was something missing? We did hear that somewhere during the administration, he did call the entire cabinet and performance contracts were given. And then there were certain deliverables that they had to have achieved at the end of 5 years. We saw that happen. We also saw a very public calling out of ministries where he said, look, how can I be the one doing your work for you? You don't know what's going on. So at this point, was it a culmination of those plus what the protests were asking for? Or was it just because of pressure? And he said, okay, pressure, I feel it, everybody go home.
To be fair to the president and even to the members of the cabinet, from day one, when he constituted that cabinet, everybody who is reasonable, of reasonable intelligence, who is aware of what's happening in this country, day one when the president appointed that cabinet, he